All right, so let's begin the show with your pension planning via NPS. And from today onwards, we'll be beginning a very special segment where we'll be talking about everything and anything on NPS. And the segment is called All About NPS. All right. So on the guest today, to decode more on NPS and to know how can you be a part of NPS or how can you invest on NPS, I have with me Hemant Rustagi from Vice Invest. Hemant, good evening and welcome to the show. And although as a product, a lot of people know a lot of things about NPS, but then let's talk about a new feature that's been added and which was announced in the budget also. It's called NPS Vatsalya, where in NPS we all know that you want to plan your retirement, and that's the main and the essential goal via which you can use NPS in your portfolio or invest in it. But in NPS Vatsalya, you can also plan your child's retirement. While a lot of people need to start really think about their retirement, here we are talking about your child's future and their retirement. So let's begin with the details which are in public domain as far as NPS Vatsalya is concerned, Hemant. So what are the features?
Well, Kavita, I think let me begin with the intent of launching NPS Vatsalya. So clearly, objective is to kind of ensure that there is a savings culture, that you start investing early, you follow asset allocation. So we all know that since this is specifically about children, that every parents want that they should do something or they should do their best to secure the future of their children. So of course, it requires a couple of important things to be done: to start investing early, to follow asset allocation, to maintain the discipline. Now, what typically happens is that, this is one area we've seen that even though you require a large corpus for securing children's future, many of us make the mistake of not starting early, not investing in the right kind of product. So I think when you look at NPS Vatsalya, basically the objective is very clear that you have an option which encourages you to start investing early, follow asset allocation, because if you look at the active asset allocation there, you can invest as much as 75% in equity. Then there is also option to invest in government securities, corporate bond, and some investment in alternate assets. So in terms of asset allocation, there are a number of options. You can invest as little as 1,000. The whole idea is that you start investing in the name of the children, okay? So you don't delay your investment process. Also, I think it allows you to include the children also in this process. It's very, very important. Many times, the parents will start investing, but children have no clue as to what is happening. See, what happens here is that the whole objective is that children should also be a part of this. So when it happens, they understand what equity is, what asset allocation is, why they should follow a disciplined approach, right? What are the benefits of that? How different asset classes behave. So the objective is that once they get to the age of 18, then obviously from there on, they can continue investing in tier one NPS from there. So as you mentioned clearly, retirement is one goal which is very, very important, but many of us are guilty of not starting early. So I think, like I said, it's very disciplined process. It encourages you to involve children in this. You can start with as little as 1,000. There are different options that you can look at. So I think it's a great initiative by the government, like I said, to kind of ensure that there is a saving culture across the country.
All right, so let's also talk about the process part of it. So you need to open an NPS account, and then tier 1 is mandatory. So how do you open a NPS Vatsalya account? Will that come under your tier 1 account? What's going to be your minimum contribution, and also tax benefit, especially for the ones who are under older tax regime, they get a benefit in ATC and ATCCD. So are we getting a tax benefit also on NPS Vatsalya?
No, I think this is meant for children. So basically, if the parents are applying, they're applying as a guardian of the child. So obviously, the account has to be separate from your NPS account. And like I mentioned earlier, the minimum investment is 1,000. So you open a separate account. KYC has to be done of the parent. You initiate that process, and I think as far as the tax benefits are concerned, as of now, it seems there is no additional tax benefit for this. So one, it is separate from your NPS account. Okay. So what happens is that you can continue this investing in the name of the child. Once the child attains maturity, this can be converted into NPS normal account for the child, who by then would have become major, and then the child can continue. There are both the options which are available. Either the child can continue investing in that till the retirement age, or there is also option of taking out the money. Of course, there are different terms and conditions for that, which is that if the corpus is less than 2.5 lakh, you can withdraw everything. But if the corpus is more than 2,50,000, then for 80% you have to buy annuity and the remaining can be taken out. So the whole idea is to have a separate account for the child, to inculcate the habit of investment, and then that account can be carried on in the tier 1 account of NPS later on.
Okay. We are also talking about investing in the same type of schemes which are available now for you as an NPS subscriber. Are those the same kind of schemes you can select even in under NPS Vatsalya?
Yes. All the three options are available, which is the default option, which is 50% in equity, right? Sure. Then auto, and then also the active one, which I mentioned earlier.
So, Hemant, one catch over here is, since you are talking about your child's retirement, okay, and assuming that you have a very long tenure and you have a time horizon that can give you the best benefits of compounding, how high can we go in our equity allocation, or if you might want to strategize it for our viewers, because we are talking about their children retirement goal, how can they strategize NPS Vatsalya in the bestest way to help their kids accumulate the corpus for their retirement?
Well, I think this is a very important question, Kavita. I would say, one, like I said, there are three options. So my advice would be that every parent should try and take the active option. The whole idea, like I mentioned earlier, is to not only allow the parent to start investing early for the children's future, but also involve children in this process. See, what happens is, if the child is a part of this process, the understanding of different asset classes, asset allocation, how equities behave, actually prepares them for the challenges ahead. So that by the time they reach a stage where they have a serious money to invest, when they are investing on their own, the fear which usually keeps us away from equity would not be there. So I think my recommendation would be, one, to look at active. What happens in NPS Vatsalya is that when you opt for equity, the maximum equity that you can take is 75%. Now, to some, it may sound very high, but the fact is, like you rightly mentioned, you are not only investing for 15, 18 years, you are investing for much longer period. Think of it. What is the risk of investing in equity? The risk is volatility, which usually impact the short and the medium term. Over the longer term, we have seen equity always does better than any other asset class. So clearly, because you have time on hand, because you're talking about a very long period, okay, the fear of equity would go, the negative aspect of volatility, all that is taken care of. So in my view, parents should opt for active, go for 75% equity. And that's what I think, even at the age of 18, the children, when they get to that stage, they should continue because they will still have many, many years till they retire. So I think the focus should be more on equity.
All right. Now, talking about withdrawals, I mean, there are withdrawal features now attached to NPS also under certain conditions. But what about NPS Vatsalya? Parents initially taking up the role as a guardian have to give up the account to the child on attaining maturity. The withdrawing rules remains the same, and can parents, being in the capacity of a guardian, can also withdraw from NPS Vatsalya if there is a requirement or need or an emergency of that cause?
Yes, I think there is a process that you can actually take out the money after 3 years. You can take out 25% of the contribution that you made, but obviously it's meant for only to be taken out for specific purpose of child education, or if there is some kind of disability or some treatment of some specific ailments. So yes, there are provisions that you can take out the money before the child turns 18.
So that's all about NPS Vatsalya on our very special coverage on NPS, which is called All About NPS. And starting from today, we'll be featuring all kind of information that's needed for you to know to invest in NPS. So just in case you also have any question that you want to send across related to NPS or any strategy that you might want to know for your pension planning via NPS, do send across on our WhatsApp number and email ID 8657974571. The email ID is themoneyshow@etnow.tv.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.